the heart of the lush rainforests of southeastern Nigeria, where the great Niger River whispered secrets to the ancient trees, lay the village of Umuofia. This was no ordinary settlement. It was a tapestry woven from the threads of Igbo tradition, where the Otobo, the central village square, pulsed like the heartbeat of the community. Here, under the canopy of towering Iroko and oil palm trees, the people lived in harmony with the land and the spirits. The air was thick with the scent of red earth after rain, the calls of hornbills echoing through the mist, and the rhythmic pounding of yam mortars in the distance. Umuofia was a place where every compound, built from mud walls etched with woolly designs, swelling patterns symbolizing fertility and protection, housed extended families bound by blood and shared destiny. The villagers revered Chukwu, the supreme creator, and Allah, the earth goddess who cradled their ancestors' bones. They believed in the Chi, each person's personal spirit that guided their path, and the Alusi, the deities who enforced justice. Customs dictated that no decision was made alone. The Umuna, the council of elders, gathered in the Otobo to deliberate, invoking proverbs like Igwe Buike, unity is strength, to remind all that the community's welfare surpassed individual desires. Family was sacred. Extended kinships where cousins were brothers and neighbors were aunts. Marriages were alliances sealed with palm wine and kola nuts, and children were treasures from the ancestors, especially twins or triplets, seen as omens of great blessing or trial. In this vibrant world lived Chike, a man whose name meant God's power. Tall and broad-shouldered, with skin like polished ebony, and scars from battles against rival clans, Chike was a farmer and trader renowned for his strength and fairness. His compound stood on the village's edge, surrounded by cassava fields and banana groves, where goats roamed freely and chickens scratched the earth. Chike's first wife, Ineka, Mother is Supreme, had been the light of his life, a woman of gentle wisdom who bore him no children before her untimely death from a fever that swept the village like a vengeful spirit. The elders had mourned her, saying, Onye wuru ambu, ura gai juya, a dead person shall have all the sleep necessary, implying that her rest was eternal, but Chike's heart ached like a wound that refused to heal. Driven by the need for heirs and the pressure of his chi urging continuity, Chike sought a new wife. Whispers in the market led him to Adaku, a beauty from a distant village across the river. Her name meant daughter of wealth, and she arrived like a vision from the spirit world, eyes like deep pools reflecting moonlight, skin glowing like honey under the sun, and a laugh that tinkled like cowrie shells in the wind. The villagers marveled at her grace, but some elders furrowed their brows, murmuring that her origins were shrouded in mist. Aka jiakwa dima, mono aka jiakwa dinjo, they said, warning that beauty could hide deception. The marriage ceremony was a spectacle. In the Otobo, under the watchful eyes of the Alusi shrines, small huts adorned with feathers and clay pots, Chike presented kola nuts to Adaku's kin, breaking them with the incantation, Onye wetara oji wetarandu. He who brings kola brings life. Palm wine flowed. Masquerades danced in vibrant agbada robes, their wooden masks carved to resemble ancestral spirits, and the ogene gong resonated through the night. Adaku moved into Chike's compound, tending the hearth with an eerie efficiency, her songs in a dialect slightly off, like echoes from the river's depths. Months turned to seasons, and joy bloomed when Adaku bore triplets, 2 boys and a girl, named Obinna, father's heart, Kelechi, thank God, and Ifeoma, good thing. The village erupted in celebration. Triplets were rare, a sign from Chukwu of abundant blessings. The Dibia, the village diviner, performed the Isaewu ritual, sacrificing a goat to Allah to protect the children from Ogbanje spirits, mischievous entities that cycled through birth and death to torment families. Ezenyawibu Eze, the women chanted, praising Adaku's fertility. But Chike noticed subtle shadows. Adaku's eyes sometimes glazed over during the naming ceremony, as if listening to voices from beyond the veil. Life in Umuofia flowed like the seasonal rains. Mornings began with the crow of roosters and the sweep of brooms on red dirt paths, Women like Chike's sister Ngozi fetched water from the stream, balancing clay pots on their heads while gossiping about market prices. Men tilled the fields, planting yams, the king of crops, in mounds blessed by the ancestors. Children played in the shade of mango trees, chasing butterflies or enacting folk tales where the cunning tortoise outwitted the mighty elephant. Evenings brought storytelling circles around fires where elders like Mazi Onkunkwo shared tales of the spirit world, reminding the young that Akuku Kaeji Akaika, stories are used to teach children. Chike's compound buzzed with activity. Obina, the eldest triplet by minutes, was bold and curious, always toddling toward the forest edge. Kelechi was thoughtful, his tiny hands grasping at leaves as if deciphering secrets. Ifeoma, the girl, had a cry like a bird song, drawing smiles from all. Adaku nursed them with a detachment that unsettled Ngozi. Sister, Ngozi once said, "The children need your warmth, like the sun on new shoots." Adaku smiled thinly, replying, "They have their father's strength. What more do they need?" Ngozi shook her head, recalling a proverb, "Watakwa is yoku, okwoya inulu osisi." When a child tells the truth, he tells it on top of a tree, implying innocence reveals hidden dangers. As the dry season waned, Chike prepared for a long trade journey to the northern markets, exchanging yams and kola for salt and cloth. "I must go," he told Adaku, "to secure our future." She nodded, her eyes flickering like fireflies. The night before his departure, a storm brewed, thunder rumbling like Amadioha, the thunder god, pounding his anvil. Chike dreamt of a river spirit, a mamiwata with Adaku's face, luring him into depths. He awoke, sweating, but dismissed it as the chi's warning to be vigilant.
Weeks passed, and the Hamatan winds brought a chill to Umuofia, dusting the leaves with fine sand from distant lands. Adaku's behavior shifted like the changing seasons. She neglected the hearth, letting the fire die to embers, and wandered the forest paths at odd hours. Villagers whispered of seeing her by the stream, conversing with reflections in the water. Ngozi, ever watchful, visited often, bringing cassava fufu and egusi soup. "The children cry for you," she urged. Adaku laughed, a sound like cracking thunder. "They are strong like their father. Let them learn the world's harshness early." One evening, as the sun dipped below the canopy, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, Ngozi overheard Adaku murmuring to the triplets in a tongue not quite Igbo, words that twisted like vines. The babies wailed, their tiny bodies writhing as if stung by invisible bees. Ngozi confronted her. "What spirit possesses you, Adaku? These children are blessings from Allah." Adaku's eyes narrowed and she spat, "Blessings. They bind me to this earth. My true home calls." That night, the Dibia, old Mazi Eze, visited the compound. His face was lined like ancient bark, his staff topped with a carved chi symbol. He burned herbs in a clay bowl, the smoke coiling like serpents, and divined with cowrie shells. "There is imbalance," he declared. "Adaku's chi wars with darker forces. Beware the Ogbanje. They come as beauty, but bring sorrow." He recited a proverb, "Onye kwe, chi ya ekwe," which means if a person agrees, his personal God agrees, implying that Adaku's will invited evil. Subplots emerged in the village. Young Namdi, Chike's nephew, recounted seeing strange lights in the forest, perhaps Muo, the spirits. Elders gathered in the Otobu, debating. "We must protect the community," said Mazi Okonku. "Remember the tale of the tortoise and the yam ban. Cunning hides in thin sight." They shared stories, one of a woman who married a river spirit, abandoning her kin, another of triplets who brought prosperity, but tested loyalty. Adaku's neglect worsened. She left the triplets unattended, their cries echoing through the compound like lost souls. Ngozi took them in secretly, feeding them pap from ground maize. "Your mother is lost," she whispered, but the village is your shield. Suspense built as rains returned, torrential rainfall that flooded paths and swelled the river. Villagers sensed unrest. Animals acted strangely, with monkeys chattering warnings from treetops. A masquerade festival approached, where spirits walked among men, but omens, a fallen Iroko branch, or a two-headed snake, foretold chaos.
The rains came relentlessly, turning the earth to mud and the air heavy with moisture. Umoofia's people huddled in their compounds, telling tales to pass the time. Adaku grew bolder, vanishing for days, returning with wet hair and eyes gleaming like polished stones. Rumors spread. She was seen dancing alone by the river, her movements fluid like water itself. "She is Mami Water," whispered the women at the stream, recalling myths of the seductive water spirit who lured men to doom but sometimes bestowed wealth. Ngozi, determined, sought the Dibia's counsel again. In his hut, surrounded by fetish objects, skulls of animals, bundles of herbs, he cast bones. Adaku is not of this world. She is an Ogbanje, bound to the spirit realm, using marriage to toy with mortars. The triplets are her anchor. She seeks to sever it. He explained Ogbanje, spirits that entered wombs to cause grief, dying young or driving mothers mad. But Adaku was different, a mature manifestation, perhaps sent by jealous Alusi. A subplot unfolded with a trickster figure. An old tortoise, wise and cunning, appeared in Ngozi's dreams. In Igbo folklore, the tortoise, Mbe, was the ultimate deceiver, outwitting beasts in tales like marrying the king's daughter by fooling the elephant. "Follow the rain's path," the dream tortoise said, to uncover truth. Inspired, Ngozi trailed Adaku one stormy night. Through sheets of rain, she saw Adaku at the riverbank, shedding her wrapper to reveal scales glinting like fish. She dove into the waters, emerging with a necklace of cowries, symbol of Mami Water's power. Ngozi gasped, recalling a proverb, "Ezembe, sinan sobu bunkeya, ya jiri burozu." The tortoise king says trouble is his, that's why he goes first, meaning one must face dangers head-on. Back in the village, tension mounted. The triplets fell ill, their fevers raging like forest fires. The Dibia performed rituals, invoking Amadioha to strike evil. He intoned, "Thunder will reveal the hidden." Chike, meanwhile, far north, felt his chi stir. Dreams plagued him, his children in rain, crying. He cut his journey short, paddling back unannounced under the cover of night.
The storm peaked as Chike approached Umuofia. Lightning cracked the sky, illuminating the swollen river. His canoe battled waves, but his heart pounded with foreboding. "Chimi, guide me," he prayed. Arriving at dawn, rain pounding like drums, he crept to his compound. The gate creaked. Inside, silence, but for the patter on thatched roofs. His hearth was cooled, no smoke rising. Then Auro, in the courtyard, under the deluge, lay his triplets, abandoned in a shallow basket, soaked and shivering, their cries weak against the raw. Rage surged like Amadioha's bolt. "Adaku," he bellowed, scooping the babies. They were cold but alive, miracle of Allah. Adaku emerged from the hut, unperturbed, water dripping from her like a river nymph. "You return early, husband. The children, they needed the rain's cleansing." "Liar, spirit of deceit," Chike accused, his voice thunderous. Adaku laughed, transforming, her form shimmering, revealing a Mami Water tale briefly reverting. "I am Ezenwanyi, queen of waters. I wed you for sport, but these whelps chain me.
I abandoned them to free myself. Chike, stunned, recalled elders' warnings, but another twist. The triplets glowed faintly, their chi strong, repelling her touch.
Chike rallied the village. In the Otobo, amid pouring rain, elders convened. "This is war on our community," Mazi Okonko declared. "Oni ajuju ono, ajuju ya." He who asks questions doesn't lose his way. They pursued Adaku to the forest, where mystical creatures stared. A hare, trickster ally, led them astray initially, but the dream tortoise appeared, guiding through. Subplot: Nnamdi faced a spirit test, solving riddles to prove worth. Ambushes by shadowy figures. Adaku summoned storms, flooding paths. Adaku wasn't pure evil. Her motivation, banished from water realm, seeking return via chaos, but love for Chike conflicted her.
At the reverse sacred grove, confrontation. Dib Ear invoked Alusi. Amadio has struck, weakening Adaku. Community chanted, unity prevailing. Final twist. Triplets' cries summoned ancestral spirits, revealing Adaku's vulnerability, a stolen cowrie from Allah. Chike, merciful, offered redemption. Return the cowrie, live peacefully. Adaku, touched, complied, vanishing into waters.
Peace returned. Triplets thrived, symbols of resilience. Chike remarried Ngozi's kin, strengthening family. Moral: community conquers evil, destiny balances good and ill. Onye kwechi ekwe: agreement with chi brings success. Village prospered, honoring traditions. Hey, my people, wasn't that Umuofia tale a thrilling ride? If Chike's courage and the triplets' chi moved you, hit that like button. Drop your thoughts in the comments. How does your community stand strong? Subscribe now to join our strong family and never miss another African wisdom-packed story. Share this with your friends and family using hashtag #UmuofiaVictory to spread Igbo heritage worldwide. Let's grow this village together. Click subscribe and keep the stories coming back to back.